If you are a working professional who is struggling to keep up with their workload or looking for more creative ways in order to work more efficiently and more productively, this video is for you. I'll be sharing tips on how I stay on top of my workload at my job, so stick around. Hello everyone and welcome to I Know You Know, your one-stop knowledge sharing platform for all things careers, life after high school, as well as opportunities that are available to you. As you know, and I know you know, we do share career-related information, but we don't just want to end up with helping you find a career, but we also want to help you excel in whatever stage you're in at the moment. So today we'll be focusing on working professionals. We all know that you have like long to-do lists, you have KPIs to meet, and different things that could be adding onto your plate and really making your work overwhelming. So in this video, we'll be touching on some hacks that you can use that I have personally also used, by the way, that will help you work more efficiently and productively. Without any further ado, let's get into the video. So number one, plan your day the night before. You've probably heard this before, but really listen, hear me out. So when you plan your day the night before, you give yourself an opportunity, and it doesn't have to take long. It can be even 10 minutes before you sleep or 10 minutes in your evening, where you actually plan what your most important tasks are for the following day. This is where you focus on about 3 to 5 tasks that will really move the needle. So it's not about planning your day bit by bit, the night before, but it's really just to zone in and say, what do I have to do tomorrow that'll help me to really move the needle in terms of my progress towards whatever it is that I'm working towards, those important tasks that need to get done, those deadlines that need to get achieved, and so forth. Those are the things that you then highlight as your 3 to 5 main tasks that you really want to focus on. This is actually called the MIT method, which is the most important task method. And here what you do is really just identify three things that you want to really conclude and do and achieve the following day. And that's what you have done. You have kind of put you've put the skeleton to your day, by doing this. Because yes, there will be some smaller tasks that you'll do the following day, but really if you have put these main sort of chunks of tasks that you want to really do and achieve the following day, it really does help to give structure to your day, but also to ensure that at the end of the day, you have not just been waffling around and just doing the small tasks that really don't move the needle forward, but you've done about 3 tasks that will push your business forward or your workload forward. Number 2, time blocking. Time blocking is a very efficient way to make sure that your tasks are done and your work is accomplished. So with time blocking, what you essentially do is you set aside time to do deep work. This is where you say, yes, it's not a meeting, yes, you're not going to be conversing with other people. It is time with yourself, but you still book it into your diary so that it can help you know that during this time you'll be focusing on a specific task or you'll be focusing on a specific thing. And it'll help to time block starting with those 3 or 5 tasks that you've planned the night before, so that you, like I said, give structure to your day. And with time blocking, it ensures that if you follow your time blocked schedule, you will actually end up doing stuff because you've set aside time and you're showing up to do those things in that time that you've planned, which means at the end of the day, you will have done those tasks because you really did show up to your time blocks. And remember, when you are time blocking, you also need to set aside short periods to rest. So time blocking is not just about the times that you are productive or the times that you are working, but it's really a tool that is there to make sure that you do what needs to be done, and resting is part of what needs to be done during your workday. So whether you time block your 15-minute coffee break at like 10:30 or something, or you time block your lunch hour, this is one thing I struggle with. Sometimes I'm there at my desk working and eating at lunch. That's not healthy. That is not healthy at all, because you end up not really resting during your lunch, which means at the end of your lunch break, you're not as rejuvenated as maybe someone who drove to the cafeteria and sat there and ate there and spoke with people about things that are not work related or even work related but really outside of the context of the office, your mind is not as refreshed as that person's mind. And so time blocking is all about setting aside time to do what needs to be done, which includes rest. So remember to schedule your rest times as well. The next point, and I love this point, is the 2-minute rule. So what is the 2-minute rule? The 2-minute rule is a rule that says if a task is going to take me 2 minutes or less to do, I'm going to do it immediately. Now, this of course does not include tasks that come in while you're doing deep work. Hopefully when you're doing deep work, you're also not necessarily getting notifications and things that could be distracting. But if you're not doing deep work and a task such as scheduling a meeting or filling in a document or reading and responding to a short email that just requires you 2 minutes or less to respond to, do it immediately and get it out the way. How this 2-minute rule helps is that it prevents the small tasks from piling up into a task list or a to-do list that can end up feeling overwhelming. Because remember, if something comes in, you'll probably note it down somewhere to say, I need to do this. Even if you don't note it down somewhere, it's somewhere at the back of your mind, chilling there waiting for you to actually do it. And so that can end up making you feel a little bit overwhelmed and making you feel like there's a million things that I need to do, when really you might find that half of those are things you can do in 2 minutes or less. And by the way, if you are now getting multiple things that you need to do in 2 minutes or less, it can also end up feeling overwhelming, because yes, each thing is 2 minutes, but if you have 100 of them to do, that's a whole lot more time than if you just had one thing to do. So use the 2-minute rule to your advantage to ensure that you are actually able to get stuff done, but also to prevent your to-do list from being packed. The next step is to leverage technology to your advantage. There are so many tools out there, and sometimes the fact that there are so many tools out there is precisely why people don't end up using it, because it's a little bit overwhelming to go over them and really figure out which tool works for you and so forth. But give yourself time, set yourself time to find the tools that do work for you. You can actually streamline your workflow so nicely with some tools. So you can even be using planning tools such as Notion and Asana, Trello, Todoist, and so forth. And for your meetings and so forth, and your emails, using things like the Google Workspace thing with Google Calendar and so forth, or even Outlook and the likes. By using these tools, you can end up minimizing the amount of time you spend trying to remember things, trying to find things, trying to set things up, because you already have a system that works for you. You can automate things there. I know on things like Monday.com, for example, you can say, once this task is done, send a reminder to do this and this task. So this can actually help you stay on top of your deadlines, because you can set reminders for yourself to say, maybe you get a task that's due in like 4 weeks time, but it's maybe not a long-ish task and maybe you might not start on it immediately, but you may want a reminder on the week of, on the Monday of, to say, by the way, on Friday, remember this and this is due. This will help you become more efficient, because you will actually stay on top of your game in terms of doing things. And the other bonus point under this is that sync these on all your devices so that you can stay on top of your game. So what this looks like is, if you have a calendar, for example, sync it on all your devices so that even if you're not on your laptop, you can maybe get a reminder on your phone, or you can maybe get a reminder on your tablet, your iPad, whatever, so that you can be able to know that no matter what device you have, you will still get the necessary reminders that you have set up in your systems, because the system is only as good as you allow it to work for you. And so if you set up a Google Calendar, but you hardly ever use the device where the notification is going to come, then that's kind of useless. So you need to ensure that you make your systems work for you. Find systems that work for you, and then you make those systems work for you by giving it the best possible opportunity to work for you. And so, yes, leverage the use of technology in order to streamline your workflow and make sure that you really optimize on the work that you need to do, and when you do it, how you do it, and all of that planning. One of the most important thing, and this is my last point, that will help you stay on top of your game is to learn to say no. It's not every task that comes to your desk that you need to do. And the principles of a really successful company or a really successful business is where everyone is doing only the work that only they can do. Because then it means they're really doing the work that is for them and that their role is specified for. What this will do is to ensure that there is productivity and that you're making the maximum use of your resources. For an example, if you have someone who, like in my workplace, for example, someone who is an engineer, they are hired to optimize the process and so forth. You don't want that person being bogged down by tasks that can be done by somebody else. You don't want to send that person, for example, to go turn a valve and so forth, because there are people that are hired to do that work. And if the engineer was to be able to, if the engineer was to do that work, it would take up time that they could be using to really invest in the company and make more money for the company. And so this applies to any workplace. Everyone is hired for their specified role, and so it is important to learn to say no when a task that is not belonging to your role comes onto your desk. Now, I know that it can be, there are different times, there are stressful times, there are, crunch times and so forth, where you end up stepping in and doing something. That's fair and fine. As long as it's clear that whatever task you are helping with is a one-time thing and that you are assisting with this task. Another thing is that, so it can be that you aren't able to really say no, but you can negotiate the deadline. This is another tool that you can use to manage your workload. So everyone always asks for everything and always makes it seem like it's urgent. And while this may be true in certain cases, it is impossible for you to do everything at the same time. So whether it's urgent or not, it's still impossible for you to do all of them all at once. So you really need to get good or become good at really identifying and deciphering what is actually urgent and what can wait a bit. And when the person gives you the task with the deadline, when the person gives you the task, ask them, when do you need this by? And if you are able to commit to that deadline, you can agree. If you are not able to commit to that deadline, you can negotiate and see when else would work for you. Because unfortunately, we are not machines, or fortunately, but unfortunately for capitalism and the businesses, we are not machines. And then fortunately for us, because we're not machines, there is then that room to say, hey, I already have a lot on my plate. Can we perhaps move this deadline to a certain other time? And a good tip as well under this point is that you can, if you find that you tend to be so overwhelmed, you tend to have a lot to do on your plate, which you aren't able to really accomplish, you can also have a discussion with your line manager and say, hey, look, there's a lot of stuff that are landing on my desk and some of them I'm not able to do, because in different jobs, sometimes you don't even get your tasks from your line manager. You're working with different disciplines, you're working with different teams, working with different people that all kind of have things that are coming onto your desk for you to do, but you aren't really able to do all of them. So you can also get the assistance of your line manager to help you manage that and ensure that you are committing to the things that you'll really be able to deliver on with the timelines that are comfortable enough for you to deliver on. I hope this is helpful to you. Learn to say no. There you have it. Those are the top hacks for productivity for professionals. I have used these myself and I must say they are quite useful. Remember, the goal is not to do more, but it is to do the most important things and the things that really move the needle forward when it comes to your work and your progress and your growth as well. So if you really liked these tips, give us a thumbs up and try them out. You can implement one or two at a time and see how it goes. If you are gonna try any of these hacks out, please come back and tell us how they work for you and how it's going for you. Thank you so much for tuning in this video. See you in the next one. Bye.